Good evening, and welcome back to the Shadow Gallery. I am your host, James Donnelly. This time I'm back at home, no longer on the road. Probably would have done this earlier, but vlogging Molly last night on St. Paddy's Day here in the Valley of the Sun, here in the Phoenix area. So it was an awesome concert, in case you were wondering. But we're not going to talk about that. We're going to talk about comics and some comic-related movie news. So first we're actually going to start off with this week's comics. Again, this week, a little bit light. But that's okay, because it had some good stuff in it. And some pretty not-so-good stuff. So we'll start with the not-so-good stuff, and then we'll move on. Okay? So, Batman. Number 708. Now, this no longer being written by Tony Daniel, is now being written by David Hine. I don't know who that is, but has art by Guillaume March, who is a really extraordinary artist. He does some really beautiful work in this issue. Did some really beautiful work on Gotham City Sirens when I was still actually collecting that. Well, first of all, part of the problem with Batman, and this is a book that I'm honestly thinking about just taking out of my pull box, because frankly, it's just not worth my time. This is another issue about, apparently, see, there's so much shit, I guess, that I missed, or just didn't care about, or whatever, that's going on either in the, periphery of this title, or what. That there's, I knew that Azrael, John Paul Valley is no longer on the scene. I don't know if he's dead or what. But they got a new one, and he's just as crazy, apparently, as John Paul Valley is. Anyway, I'm just, again, it's, it's more, kind of sci-fi powers, and, just despite the fact that I'm liking the fact that Batman's teamed up in this issue with Red Robin and Catwoman. Dick Grayson is. It's just too out there, man. I mean, I guess what I'm wanting more than anything is a return to Batman, fighting, like, either, street crime, whatever, fighting the Penguin, fighting the Riddler, fighting the Joker, whatever. Instead of all this mystical kind of garbage that I keep seeing in these issues. The whole last arc in Batman with Sensei and stuff like that. It's like, Paul Dini at least has his, at least has his head, at least has his ear to the ground. He has an idea. It's like, I would love Ed Brubaker or Greg Rucka to write a regular Batman series, because I know they did Gotham Central, and to be honest, I've never read it. I feel really bad about that, it's just like two of my favorite authors working together, and I've never read what they did in Gotham Central. But anyway, that's my confession for the week. So really, this is just, it's really getting not to be worth my time, even for $2.99. So, moving on. So we got Brightest Day, number 22, which is Firestorm versus the Anti-Monitor, and again, Johns and Tomasi, really bring it, really bring the goods. See, I mean, this is meant to be outer space, weird powers, all that kind of stuff. And that's, and that makes it cool. Sadness again permeates this issue. Another loss of a long-time beloved character. But it's it's important to this. See, to me, when the recent demises of certain characters in regards to Brightest Day, have fit the narrative of what they're wanting to do with Brightest Day. So I don't have a problem with these deaths. You know, it's trying to move the it's moving the character along as opposed to just giving a shock death. So I mean, while it was, you know, shocking and kind of sad, frankly, and I'm not going to spoil who it is, it really does launch. You know, it keeps this narrative going, and that's, you know, and Johns is very smart about doing that. He and Tomasi have really worked out a really special comic in Brightest Day. I'm glad, even though I'm a fan of Blackest Night. I don't think it's great because it's basically superhero zombies. I don't think it's terribly original, but what that has brought to Brightest Day is worth it. So that's my take on that. Now we're going to go into Avengers versus New Ultimates #2. You know, Mark Millar. I'm not going to say Millar anymore because I know that there's an A in the name, but it's Miller. It's Mark Millar. And you've got Nick Fury, who looked like, you know, perhaps he was the villain at the end of the first issue of this. But now in this, it almost looks like he's playing both sides against the middle. There's something going on that they're not sure of. So he essentially puts together his lineup of his Avengers, his Black Ops unit, as opposed to the Ultimates. And he gets War Machine, he gets Blade, who turns out to be much cooler than I've seen him before in here, because he has a really cool moment. And he gets Frank Castle, he gets the Ultimates Punisher out, which has one of the funniest opening lines that I've seen, and just obviously, and Nick Fury gives him a pretty nice gift for a guy like the Punisher. But this is all, of course, going to be leading to there's another big surprise here, a reveal, because it seems to be that both sides, or somebody, I should say, not that Nick Fury is playing both sides against the middle, but that somebody is playing both sides against the middle. Because ultimately what it's turning into is a showdown between Nick Fury and Carol Danvers, and the Ultimates and the Avengers. So that's going to be pretty cool. And of course, this is all leading also to the death of Spider-Man. Now, I haven't been reading Ultimate Comics Spider-Man at all, because I can't seem to get my hands on a copy in regards to this arc. So I don't really know what's going on with that. But I can say that Ultimate Doom also has been a pretty good comic. So I mean, the Ultimate Universe seems to be heading in a pretty good direction right now. There's a lot of good stuff being done here. So it's still not up to par with some of the some of the beginnings of the Ultimate Universe, Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, of course, the Ultimates being the title. So we got one more comic to do, and then we're going to talk some comic news, or some movie news, I should say. And so we're going to come back, and when we come back, we're going to be talking about the final comic of the week, the final 3 comics of the week. I only have one physical copy. The other 2 are with friends. So we'll be right back after the break, so don't flip around.